yeah, it was enough to break some records for most powerful homologated production engine in the world and the fastest production car in the world.
In a time when most automakers are racing toward electric, Koenigsegg is heading in a different direction. Behind the scenes, the Swedish company has been developing a new combustion engine that is unlike anything the industry has expected.
We never stop developing it because it gives enormous freedom to the combustion engine.
Now, in 2025, the CEO says it won't just compete with EVs, it will outperform them entirely.
Still see quite a resemblance, short overhangs, large air intake on the side, mid-engine, stowable, detachable hardtop, with a really integrated look, so you get two cars in one, with fantastic performance.
Is this the moment combustion makes its comeback? Let's get into the video to know about this. The art of speed. From the start, Koenigsegg wasn't about following trends. While the rest of the automotive world was fixated on lap times and brand prestige, Christian von Koenigsegg was busy crafting rockets disguised as cars from a small factory in Ängelholm, Sweden. There were no big marketing budgets or legacy brands to lean on. It was just a single, unrelenting mission to create the fastest, most innovative cars in the world and show that one small company could out-engineer the industry giants. The journey began with the CC8S, which acted as a warning shot to the automotive world. But it wasn't until the Koenigsegg CCR that the world really started taking notice, briefly holding the title of the world's fastest production car. However, it was the Agera RS in 2017 that truly made a statement, shattering the production car speed record at 277.9 miles per hour without breaking a sweat. It didn't just beat the competition, it humiliated them. While others were focused on traction control, Koenigsegg was rewriting the laws of physics. This obsession with speed, though, wasn't just about straight-line performance. It was about everything. Every detail, from the monocoque tub to the triplex suspension, was a reflection of a single, uncompromising philosophy. Everything must serve performance. If it doesn't, it's gone. There's no fluff, no gimmicks, just pure, raw engineering. This is what truly separates Koenigsegg from the rest. The Regera took this philosophy even further. Koenigsegg eliminated the traditional gearbox, introducing a direct drive system that made gear changes obsolete. The result? Seamless acceleration, powered by hybrid torque that could leave you gasping for air, but it still felt elegant, like a grand piano, just way faster. 3 electric motors and a twin-turbo V8 under the hood? Sure. But Koenigsegg didn't stop there. They were proving that high performance could come without sacrificing luxury. Of course, none of this would matter without the visionary behind it all, Christian von Koenigsegg. He's not your typical CEO. He's part inventor, part speed freak, and part philosopher. Once, he was asked why they build such fast cars. His response was simple: because we can. But it's not as reckless as it sounds. Every decision has purpose behind it. Koenigsegg is obsessed with thermodynamics, power-to-weight ratios, and finding ways to extract more energy from less fuel. He's also one of the few people who can sketch an engine design on a napkin and watch it become a reality within 6 months. What sets him apart is his refusal to settle for good enough. Behind every Koenigsegg model is years of trial, failure, reinvention, and perfection. And once they reach perfection, they start all over again. That's why they handcraft components that other manufacturers would outsource. It's why they've created their own carbon fiber technology. Koenigsegg doesn't cut corners, and that's why their cars are as much about art as they are about engineering. Koenigsegg's approach to building cars is relentless, precise, and visionary. And in 2025, as the world waits to see what comes next, it's clear they're not finished yet. The future of performance is about to change again, and this time, no one else will be able to keep up. In a world where every car company is sprinting toward electric futures and flashy tech, Koenigsegg is quietly building something outrageous. Again. No teaser videos, no press tour, just a mysterious shift behind the scenes that's making gearheads, engineers, and probably even Elon Musk sit up straight. And no, it's not another pointless horsepower war. It's something stranger, smarter, and possibly more dangerous. For the competition, at least. Let's start with this. They built a 3D printer just to create titanium exhaust tips. Not because it was trendy, not because it looked cool on Instagram, but because shaving off every unnecessary gram matters. That kind of mindset is the core of Koenigsegg's DNA. Every shortcut they refuse to take translates into a second shaved off the track, a smoother corner, or a cleaner burst of acceleration. That relentless attention to detail is exactly what turned Koenigsegg from a weird boutique supercar company in a snowy Swedish town into a nightmare for legacy brands. Ferrari, Bugatti, Lamborghini, they're all watching Koenigsegg now, probably while sweating under their designer suits. But Christian von Koenigsegg isn't racing just for speed. He never has. He understands that the fastest car on the spec sheet doesn't always win the real race. Innovation does. And sometimes real innovation means asking a question no one else would even think to ask. Like, what if we didn't follow the rules at all? The Koenigsegg question. Christian isn't hesitant about going electric, he's just not in a rush. While other automakers are throwing batteries into everything that moves, Koenigsegg is standing still, but not idle. Cautious? Maybe. Reluctant? Definitely not. His method is deliberate, calculated, because he knows something the industry keeps forgetting in the EV gold rush. The future of performance isn't just torque and kilowatt hours. It's how far you're willing to go to think differently. He's been asking the same question for years. What if we do it completely differently? And lately it seems that question has led to something wild. Something that doesn't just raise the bar, but grabs the whole damn measuring stick and snaps it in half. When Koenigsegg announced the JRA, it felt like someone in the press office hit send on the wrong April Fool's email. A 4-seater Grand Tourer. From the same mad scientists who built cars that open like fighter jets and go fast enough to worry NASA. People were confused. Because this wasn't just a family car, it was the family car. One that seats 4 full-grown adults, fits luggage, and still out-accelerates a Bugatti Chiron. The JRA wasn't a compromise. It was a challenge, a contradiction on wheels. Luxury meets lunacy, practicality fused with power. While the auto industry was sprinting into an all-electric future with press releases and pre-orders, Koenigsegg stood still, just long enough to build something that would rewrite the script entirely. This wasn't resistance, it was patience, precision, because Christian von Koenigsegg isn't interested in joining the race. He's interested in building the car that makes the race irrelevant. The world expected silence, but instead, Koenigsegg gave them a roar powered by something that barely looked like an engine and behaved more like software. The heart of the JRA is the TFG, a name that sounds like a child's drawing of a robot but stands for Tiny Friendly Giant, a 0-litre, 3-cylinder engine. Yes, you heard that right. It sounded like something you'd find in a lawnmower. And yet somehow it made 600 horsepower. The secret?
With up to 1600 horsepower, we have actually the highest cylinder pressure of any production engine in the world.
Twin turbos and a camless, belt-free setup powered by free-valve tech. No cams, no belts, just pure code managing every valve in real time like a digital maestro. This engine could shut off cylinders while you were driving. It could literally change how it breathed depending on how hard you pushed it. And the scary part? It wasn't even working alone, because Koenigsegg knew the future leaned electric. Not because everyone was shouting about EVs, but because performance needed options. So they didn't go fully electric. They went every direction at once. They added 3 electric motors, one for each rear wheel and another on the crankshaft. When everything came together, the JRA could make up to 1,700 horsepower.
Can you imagine an M car today with under 200 horsepower?
It could drive in full electric silence, or it could roar through the countryside on pure combustion, or it could mix both and launch itself into orbit. And even with that chaos under the hood, It gave you over 600 miles of range on a full tank and charge. A lounge with jet doors. At a glance, the JRA looked like any Koenigsegg. Low, wide, sculpted with hostility. But then you noticed something strange. No B-pillars. The whole side of the car opened like it belonged in a sci-fi movie. Massive clamshell doors swung out, revealing an interior that didn't scream hypercar. It whispered Scandinavian minimalism. Inside, 4 bucket seats stood proudly, not cramped together but spaced like they belonged in a lounge. Every passenger got full infotainment. The materials were premium, the layout intentional, and yes, there were cup holders, plural, in a Koenigsegg. It was as if someone dared Christian to make a track weapon with storage space, and he actually did it. What made it so absurd was how controlled it all felt. The JRA didn't handle like a heavy Grand Tourer. It moved like something half its size. Rear-wheel steering, torque vectoring, a carbon monocoque. All the tricks Koenigsegg keeps up its sleeve showed up to make sure the car didn't just look wild, but felt sharp. It could corner like a cat and drift like a hooligan, all while carrying groceries and grandma in the back. While most manufacturers were trying to make electric SUVs drive like sports cars, Koenigsegg skipped that entire middle step and built a 4-seater that could do both, with elegance, with violence, with balance. But Koenigsegg wasn't finished, because of course they weren't. The original JRA wasn't the final boss. It was the tutorial level. Whispers started circulating from the factory floor. A more powerful version. A different engine. Something insane, even by Koenigsegg standards. In 2023, those whispers got real. They confirmed that Jesko's Hot V8 would be available as an option. That meant 200-300 horsepower, in a car with 4 doors and actual legroom. This wasn't marketing. This was an engineering mic drop. While the rest of the world was arguing about combustion versus electric, Koenigsegg quietly built a car that made the whole debate look outdated. And while everyone else kept waiting for Koenigsegg to go fully electric, they had already moved on to something far more dangerous. A future where the car doesn't just follow trends, but dares to make new ones. Koenigsegg has never been shy about doing things differently. But with the dark matter motor, they didn't just step outside the box. They reduced the box to atoms. When the company revealed this motor setup for the production version of the JRA, the message was crystal clear. Whatever you thought you knew about EV powertrains, forget it. Out with the old. In with the unthinkable. What makes this all the more jaw-dropping is what the dark matter replaced. The original JRA prototype used 3 electric motors, one for each rear wheel, and one connected to the crankshaft. It was a clever, powerful system that worked beautifully.
Connected maybe also to some of the manufacturers' more normal cars to market them.
But for Koenigsegg, good enough is an insult. The dark matter setup delivered better performance, cleaner packaging, and more potential, all from one single motor. And just like that, they didn't just improve the car, they rewrote the concept of what a hybrid hypercar could be. While the rest of the world chased fully electric platforms like it was the only option, Koenigsegg built something more flexible, more powerful, and way more unpredictable. Most car companies try to impress with numbers. Koenigsegg prefers to terrify with innovation. While the rest of the auto industry fumbles with bigger batteries and louder fake engine noises, Koenigsegg quietly drops a science project with the soul of a missile and the manners of a scalpel. Their latest experiment? A 4-seat hybrid hypercar called the JRA. It's sleek, aggressive, unreasonably fast, and it somehow has cup holders. But deep beneath that carbon fiber elegance, something much wilder is lurking. This wasn't just about building a better hybrid. It was about proving that real performance didn't need to rely on weighty batteries or synthetic drama. Koenigsegg showed the industry that you could still be smart, scary, and surgically precise, without selling your soul to convention. From the outside, the JRA looks like something born in a wind tunnel and raised on racetracks, but it was never just about speed. This was Koenigsegg's Flex, a way to blend everyday usability with record-breaking performance. And it worked, sort of too well. Behind the scenes, the JRA became a test mule for something even more extreme, something experimental. Because at Koenigsegg, if a car works perfectly, that just means it's time to break it and build something even less reasonable. They didn't just want to refine the hybrid concept, they wanted to reinvent it. And they did, with a single electric motor so powerful and so compact, it made the old three-motor system look like a hardware store science fair. Koenigsegg then created an entirely new way of thinking about EV performance. Christian von Koenigsegg himself referred to dark matter as an entirely new direction, not just a component, but a philosophy, efficiency over excess, precision over weight, a kind of minimalism that doesn't whisper, it roars in silence. While most manufacturers kept stacking more hardware to solve power issues, Koenigsegg went the other way. They refined, they streamlined, they deleted everything unnecessary. The result? A single motor delivering 800 horsepower and 1,250 Newton-meter of torque. No gimmicks, no twin setups. Just one compact unit smaller than a carry-on suitcase, quietly rewriting the rulebook. Most of the EV world still clings to traditional three-phase motors. They're proven, yes, but limited. Koenigsegg's six-phase architecture spreads the work more evenly, reducing heat and maximizing torque. The result is cleaner power delivery, no thermal overload, and near-instant performance. It doesn't matter whether you're crawling through traffic or flooring it on a track, the response is always the same: violent, controlled, and immediate. What's even more brilliant is what this motor replaced. The prototype JRA had 3 electric motors, one on each rear wheel and one on the crankshaft. That setup was solid, powerful, and totally unnecessary as it turns out, because dark matter does more with less, and that kind of leap doesn't happen by accident. It happens when someone questions every assumption, tears up the blueprint, and starts over. Numbers on a spec sheet are impressive, but that's not the magic. The real genius of the dark matter motor is how it feels. There's no lag, no build-up, just an eerie quiet before it launches you forward like it's allergic to hesitation. This isn't an electric motor doing a good impression of a sports car. This is the performance. Raw, instant torque. Seamless delivery. It feels less like driving and more like triggering something dangerous. It's the kind of precision other automakers don't just envy, they fear. Not because they don't understand it, but because they can't replicate it. Koenigsegg's approach isn't to follow trends. It's to challenge physics, then engineer a new outcome. And in a world where EVs are starting to blend together, where every new release feels a little too familiar, Koenigsegg just reminded everyone that electricity doesn't have to be boring, just the beginning. But here's the part that really stings for everyone else. Dark matter isn't even the end game. Insiders say this motor is just the setup, a taste, a teaser for something even more unhinged coming down the pipeline. If Koenigsegg went this far just to improve a hybrid drivetrain, what else is brewing behind closed doors? What's happening in those labs where only engineers with security clearance are allowed? What's on those dynos that no journalist has ever seen? According to whispers from within the company, dark matter might just be step one. Christian von Koenigsegg has been suspiciously quiet, aside from one cryptic statement. He said they've only just begun to explore what this technology can really do. And considering what they've done already, that sounds less like a promise and more like a threat. While dark matter whispered in volts, the optional hot V8 for the JRA screamed in combustion. If the electric motor was Koenigsegg's love letter to electric precision, this engine was their middle finger to subtlety. It wasn't just any V8. It was borrowed directly from the Jesko, the mechanical demon that already terrified racetracks. But here, it was even angrier. With twin turbos, flat-plane crank geometry, and an exhaust note that could shake tectonic plates, the V8 turned the JRA into something deeply inappropriate for a school run. The engine was so aggressive, it barely qualified as a hybrid anymore. It paired with the dark matter motor to create a drivetrain that defied categories. Quiet and violent, efficient and monstrous, electric but absolutely, unapologetically mechanical. At a time when most automakers are busy staging the funeral of internal combustion engines, offering their final gas-powered sedans with more eulogies than upgrades, Koenigsegg didn't just break the trend. They threw it out the window, lit it on fire, and revved over the ashes in a 4-seater with cup holders. The original Jesko was already a marvel. A free-valve, 3-cylinder engineering flex that somehow managed to feel like both the future and a tribute to mechanical purism. But apparently, that wasn't wild enough. Some customers wanted more than efficiency and innovation. They wanted fury. So Koenigsegg reworked the rear end of the Jesko, ditched the backseat storage space, and stuffed a twin-turbocharged 5.0-litre V8 into the chassis. And that's when things got spicy. On its own, the V8 engine produced 1,100 horsepower. No fake exhaust tones, no artificial drama, just real, chest-rattling, hair-raising sound. It was unapologetic, unfiltered combustion, the kind that sets off car alarms from a mile away and leaves passengers questioning their life choices. But that was just the beginning. When paired with Koenigsegg's dark matter electric motor, the new Jesko produced a combined output of 2,100 horsepower and a jaw-locking 2,750 nanometer of torque. For perspective, that's more muscle than most full-size semi-trucks generate. And yes, this beast is still a street-legal 4-seater with cup holders. This wasn't a Frankenstein engine. The brilliance wasn't just in the numbers, it was in the execution. Koenigsegg didn't dig an old V8 out of a warehouse and slap on some hybrid tech for fun. They built the hot V8 from the ground up, engineered to integrate with the hybrid system like it was born to do just that. Every component, from the turbos to the crankshaft, was designed in-house.
The aerodynamic shape over the rear, how it's cut off in a very efficient way. I mean, just this is a...
Nothing was borrowed. Nothing was generic. The result? A powertrain that felt cohesive, balanced, and shockingly lightweight for something this ridiculous. Even the sound was an engineering decision. While most hybrids whisper and hum, this V8 roared. Deep, aggressive, guttural, like the earth itself clearing its throat. Koenigsegg could have muted it. They could have digitally softened the edges like everyone else, but they didn't. On paper, it sounds absurd. While the entire auto industry sprints towards silent, fully electric futures, Koenigsegg is offering a hybrid missile with power figures that seem more at home in science fiction than reality. But in practice, it might be the smartest play in the game. Electric cars are fast, no doubt about it, but many of them lack something intangible, soul. After the novelty wears off, the thrill often fades too. Koenigsegg's hybrid system reminds you that driving can still be emotional, engaging, physical, loud. It's not just about numbers on a screen, it's about feeling like you're part of something alive. And unlike other plug-in hybrids that feel like two clashing tech teams trying to make peace, the Jesko's hybrid system was designed from the ground up as one fluid organism. No hiccups, no awkward transitions, just raw synergy. Koenigsegg's new hot V8 engine is one of the most powerful internal combustion engines ever built. It's extreme in every sense. Lightweight, high revving, quad turbocharged, and packed with innovative materials. But even as the company unveiled it, the message wasn't one of finality. It wasn't presented as the peak of their engineering. Instead, it was described as just one part of a broader journey. Christian von Koenigsegg called it one of several configurations. This is important. It shows the engine is not the final product, but a tool for experimentation. For most companies, building something like the hot V8 would be the end goal. For Koenigsegg, it's just a phase. They built something incredibly advanced, but they're already thinking ahead. The hot V8 is powerful enough to dominate in any category, but Koenigsegg sees it as a temporary answer. It is not a long-term solution, but a stepping stone. In recent years, many car companies have shifted their focus completely toward electric vehicles. Some have even announced end dates for building combustion engines. But Koenigsegg has taken a different path. They are not ignoring electric power, but they are not abandoning combustion either. Instead, they are trying to find a balance between the two. This approach began years ago. While others followed Tesla's model of all-electric performance, Koenigsegg built the Regera, a hybrid with no traditional gearbox. It used a twin-turbo V8 alongside 3 electric motors, blending power and smoothness in a unique way. This wasn't a half step into electrification, it was a completely new idea. It showed that hybrid systems could be just as innovative as pure EVs. Then came the Jesko, focused entirely on combustion, and later, the Gemera, a 4-seater that offers either a hybrid 3-cylinder engine or the hot V8 paired with electric motors. These decisions show Koenigsegg is not trying to follow trends. They are building what they believe makes the most sense for performance and future sustainability. Christian von Koenigsegg has asked a question that few automakers are willing to ask out loud. Does every car need to be electric, to be clean and efficient? He is not rejecting the idea of EVs. In fact, Koenigsegg has developed some of the most advanced electric drive units in the world, including the new dark matter motor, but he also believes there are other answers worth exploring. The argument is not against technology, it's against limited thinking. If everyone moves in one direction without asking questions, important ideas might be left behind. Koenigsegg believes that a sustainable future can include clean combustion, synthetic fuels, lighter vehicles, and more efficient energy systems. In their view, the problem is not the engine, it's how we use it. This belief is backed up by Koenigsegg's research into biofuels and synthetic e-fuels. These can be created using renewable energy, and they can power engines with almost zero emissions. If an engine can run clean and be reused in lighter, more efficient vehicles, why should it be thrown away? Koenigsegg's commitment to high-precision manufacturing. Koenigsegg is not a mass-production company. Unlike larger automakers that build hundreds of thousands of cars each year, Koenigsegg produces only a limited number of vehicles annually, usually less than 50. This decision is intentional. It allows the company to maintain full control over design, quality, and innovation without needing to compromise for high-volume output. Christian von Koenigsegg, the company's founder, has explained that this small-scale approach allows for more technical freedom. When you are not building cars for millions of people, you do not have to follow the same safety regulations, supply chain limits, or component standards that large manufacturers do. Instead, you can build something from scratch, even if it takes longer or costs more. This limited production approach has helped Koenigsegg become known for unique and advanced automotive technology that would be difficult to implement at scale. From materials to engine systems, almost every part is built in-house or customized. This results in vehicles that are very different from standard sports cars or hypercars available on the market. One of Koenigsegg's defining characteristics is its decision to keep production in-house. Most car companies buy parts from different suppliers, such as engines, brakes, or software systems. Koenigsegg, on the other hand, designs and manufactures most components themselves. This includes the chassis, body panels, wheels, software systems, electric motors, and even complex internal parts like turbochargers and inverters. This gives the company complete control over how each component is made and how they work together. It also allows for experimentation and fast development, without having to wait on supplier timelines or compromise on performance standards. This level of control is rare in the automotive industry. It is expensive and difficult to maintain, but for Koenigsegg, it ensures that every car functions exactly as designed, with no outside limitations. Many modern car companies follow consumer demand or government regulations when designing new vehicles. For example, the global market is currently focused on electric vehicles, sustainability, and digital features. Companies respond by adding more screens, adopting artificial intelligence, and focusing on zero-emission regulations. Koenigsegg follows a different path. The company is more interested in technical problem-solving than chasing market trends. For example, instead of simply adopting electric powertrains, Koenigsegg developed a new engine system that combines combustion with advanced electric integration. They also created the Regera, which removes the traditional multi-gear transmission and replaces it with a single-speed gear system connected to both an engine and electric motors. These changes are not driven by popularity. They are made to improve the driving experience, reduce complexity, and increase efficiency. Koenigsegg's engineers often create their own tools and production methods,
So we can build them in parallel and speed up the production much faster than we could before. I mean, these cars are still extremely bespoke and takes thousands of hours to put together.
when existing options do not meet their needs. Koenigsegg also invests heavily in materials. Carbon fiber, titanium, and aerospace-grade alloys are standard across their vehicle lineup. These materials are more expensive than traditional metals like aluminum or steel, but they are lighter and stronger. The use of these materials improves vehicle performance by reducing weight while maintaining safety and structural strength. Every component is assembled by hand, often by a small team of engineers and technicians. This level of detail ensures that each vehicle meets extremely high standards for reliability and finish. Even parts that the customer cannot see, such as the underside of the chassis or internal fasteners, are often polished or designed with precision. This attention to detail makes Koenigsegg vehicles not just performance machines, but examples of industrial craftsmanship. Producing a small number of cars each year is not just about exclusivity. It is part of Koenigsegg's long-term strategy for sustainability, innovation, and independence. By staying small, the company can avoid pressures that come with scaling, such as cost-cutting, supply delays, and brand dilution. This strategy also allows Koenigsegg to take calculated risks. For example, when they launched their camless engine technology, known as free valve, it was not based on consumer demand. It was developed because the company believed it was a better way to control engine operation. If Koenigsegg had to serve millions of customers or follow shareholder demands, these kinds of innovations might not be possible. As the automotive world moves toward digital platforms, software updates, and cloud-based performance controls, Koenigsegg continues to focus on physical performance, mechanical precision, and manual innovation. This does not mean the company rejects new technology. On the contrary,
Grew to leaders in their field by the use of technology and technological leadership.
Koenigsegg is often ahead of others in areas like battery density, inverter efficiency, and lightweight design. However, their goal is not to be part of mainstream development. It is to remain independent and create products that reflect original ideas. This includes alternative fuels, smaller batteries, and engines that reduce environmental impact without removing the core experience of driving. Koenigsegg's new engine is a reminder that innovation doesn't have to follow one path. While the world moves toward electric, Koenigsegg proves combustion can still evolve, stay clean, and deliver true performance. If one company can do this, what else have we been too quick to leave behind? Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.